Asherah, often referred to as the Queen of Heaven, is a significant figure in ancient Near Eastern religions, particularly within Canaanite mythology. She was a mother goddess associated with fertility, motherhood, and the nurturing aspects of nature, often symbolized by sacred trees or wooden poles known as Asherah poles. Her name appears in various forms across different cultures. Atirat in Ugaritic, Asiratu in Akkadian, and Asherah in Hebrew. In the Canaanite pantheon, she was considered the consort of El, the chief god, and the mother of numerous deities, reflecting her role as a primordial figure of creation and divinity. In the Hebrew Bible, Asherah is mentioned around 40 times, often in a negative context, as the prophet Jeremiah and other biblical writers condemned her worship among the Israelites. For instance, in Jeremiah 7:18 and 44:17-19, families are depicted making offerings and baking cakes for the Queen of Heaven, a practice linked to idolatry and associated with goddesses like Asherah, Astarte, or Ishtar. These passages suggest that her cult was deeply ingrained in the region, with some Israelites possibly viewing her as a consort to Yahweh, the God of Israel. Archaeological evidence, such as inscriptions from Kuntilit Adrud and Khirbet el-Kom dating to the 8th century BCE, further supports this, with phrases like Yahweh and his Asherah, hinting at a syncretic worship where she was paired with the Israelite deity. However, scholars debate her exact identity in these biblical references. Some argue the Queen of Heaven in Jeremiah could be a composite of multiple goddesses, Asherah, Astarte, or even the Mesopotamian Ishtar, known as the Queen of Heaven and Earth. The cakes mentioned in Jeremiah, called Kawan, may connect to Akkadian Kamanu, a ritual cake linked to Ishtar, suggesting cultural overlap. Others propose Anat, or even a generic term for foreign goddesses. What's clear is that her worship was widespread, extending from Mesopotamia to the Levant, and persisted despite efforts to suppress it, as seen in the Judahites' defiance in Jeremiah 44. Asherah's role as the Queen of Heaven ties her to celestial and earthly domains, a title also applied to goddesses like Inanna and Isis in other traditions. In Ugaritic texts, she's called Rabat Atirat Yam, Lady Athirat of the Sea, emphasizing her expansive influence. Her association with sacred trees aligns with fertility and life, contrasting with the biblical portrayal of her symbols as idolatrous. This tension reflects a broader shift in ancient Israel, from polytheism toward monotheism, with Asherah's prominence fading as Yahweh's sole divinity was emphasized. Her legacy endures as a symbol of the divine feminine, challenging the male-dominated narratives that later dominated religious thought in the region. Whether as a goddess in her own right or a cultic symbol tied to Yahweh, Asherah represents a complex interplay of theology, culture, and power in the ancient world.